These feet have so many muscles and joints, and they need to be healthy. In fact, the health of your feet impacts the health of the rest of your body. Not just muscle and bone, but circulatory issues all are impacted if your feet don't move. Now, when I try and get people to wiggle their toes and separate them out and lift a big toe, often their toes don't respond to what their brain is telling them. So what we're going to start with is physically manipulating the toes using your hands. So taking your big toe, circle it around about 4 times as fully as you can, and then the other direction. And you're trying to actually get as much range of motion as your toe will get. And then you're going to do it with each toe. This does start to lubricate the joint. You might discover places it doesn't move easily. Again, you're going about 4 circles, 5 circles, one direction, and then reversing it. And you're doing this with each toe so that your toe can start to learn what's possible. Yes, your toes can learn things. So after you've manipulated them and moved them around, we want to move them further, and part of that is getting them to spread out. Toes should be the widest part of your foot, and for most of us, this is the widest part. Now, my feet have gotten a lot better, but you can see they still curve in from years of pointy shoes, dance shoes that were very small. And so I want to start to see if I can get them to spread out. I'm going to take my fingers from the back of the foot, try and get my fingers between all my toes. Now, I can get my fingertips between my toes. If you have more space, you might get your whole finger all the way down to the webbing of your fingers in there. If you have less space, you might start with 2 toes, and then switch and do 2 toes, and then switch and then do 2 toes. Once you get fingers in between your toes, whether you're doing all of them at once or a few at a time, I want you to actually circle your whole foot at the ankle while you're holding your toes apart. So what's interesting is you'll use your muscles a little bit differently because the alignment of your toes is different while you're moving your foot. And then I want you to see if you can twist just the front of your foot. So now I'm holding my ankle fairly still, and I'm just turning my foot from side to side with my toes spread. This is something I do every night because my skin is dry and I live in a very cold place. I put lotion on my feet at night, and I then wiggle my toes around with my fingers, and I separate them with my fingers, and I move my foot around with my fingers in there. Another thing you can do, and we'll make this the last thing, is take 2 fingers and very gently pull each pair of toes apart. Now I say gently because this skin in here, this webbing, is very delicate skin, and it is possible to tear skin, so we don't want to tear skin. But you're going to just see, can you pull your toes apart a little bit? Just so you know, your toes should be able to get to a right angle, and you see how this is pretty close to a right angle, but none of the rest of them are. So I have more movement at my big toe. That's what I'd like you to do for a week, every day, whether you do it at night before bed, or you do it in the morning when you get up, or when you're about to put your socks on. Find time to wiggle your toes, manipulating them with your fingers, and just see how your feet feel different. Happy New Year. Happy feet.